Hey, peace, family. It is yours truly, Amar Mari. I am the founder of Uwa Pele Movement. Uwa Pele is a Yoruba word. It means good character, gentle character. And we're live and direct on the set once again. As I told you all, we have the Kofi Piesie research team in the building. I'm telling you, family, you are in for a treat. We're going to be discussing their phenomenal book, Spears of the Masi, on today. Listen, you want to make sure you go get you a copy of this book. It's absolutely phenomenal. We're going to deal with the Kuji Chagalia side of the house on tonight, man. Listen, this is for us, by us, being taught by us. And for those who don't know, you get ready to know that our history has unfortunately been tainted by Eurocentric ideologies. There's been some lies told. We know that in the movie Moses. All right, we are the original people. We're going to talk about the importance of our culture on tonight, cultural awareness. Okay, but we're going to do it with class. These gentlemen are very educated. You're talking about years of research. Okay, and all of them have a piece in this book, and we're going to talk about that. So each one of them are going to talk about their specific chapter, why they titled it that. And also from there, we're going to have a round table discussion. We're going to put this discussion on the table as it relates to culture. So if you would be so kind at this time to share and invite also for those of you who have a business, put your business out there. As you know, we practice cooperative economics. Uwa Pele movement, we also focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. All right, my queen Amani Mara is the co-founder of Uwa Pele movement. As we know, we cannot forget about the feminine energy. We got to have that balance. All right, she's also the executive director of all of our businesses. So if you out there, put your business out there. Also, if you be so kind, put your city and your state. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Yours truly is from the 585 Rochester, New York, in the building representing. Get ready to dive in, family. Get ready to get in. All right, now we live on the gram. We get ready to get busy. So again, at this time, if you'd be so kind to share and invite, we would greatly appreciate that. That would be great. Thank you so much. As my good brother Kofi say, as we all learn, others should be learning as well. Yes, sir. All right, family. I see y'all tuning in, so we're going to go ahead and get busy. Again, we have the Kofi Piesie research team in the building. What's good, family?
Peace.
Yes, indeed. The Lafayette, brother Kofi.
Peace, brother.
Lafayette, all right, to all the family. Lafayette, eBay.
Peace.
All right, family. So as we discussed, all right, we have the Kofi Piesie research team in the building. Kofi Piesie, if you would be so kind, brother, to begin, introduce yourself and introduce your team. And thereafter, we're going to dive in each one of the team members who wrote their chapter in this excellent book, The Spears of the Masi, a historical survey of the minds of African warriors, scholars, volume 1. We're going to dive into this literature, and we're going to empower the people on the day.
Okay, well, first I want to say ETM Hotel. ETM Hotel just means welcome and peace. I want to say dua ku, dua nature, fatmu alafie, fatmu iwa riwi, fatmu iwa pele, majuba iba ii gungun, majuba iba ii gungun. Majuba iba elagba, majuba iba elagba. I always have to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to give or extend honors and praise to the true and living elders out there according to African traditions and an African perspective. I am Brother Kofi Piesie. I am one of the members of Kofi Piesie research team and a co-author of The Spears of the Masi, Volume 1. I'll let the other brothers introduce themselves one by one, but peace, family, alafia, even.
Peace and blessings. Say Lafayette. It's your brother Sue Tech, representing the Kofi Piesie research team. I am one of the co-authors of Spears of the Mossy, and I am here with my brothers, ready to do this interview.
Peace to the family. It's your brother Satep and Rob Mariaman, one of the co-authors as well. I appreciate this brother for having us on the panel. Appreciate you for spreading the message. We got some powerful information in here.
Tope.
Yeah, we got some powerful information in here that we want the family to know about. So we appreciate the brother for having us on.
Peace to everybody out there that's tuned in. Definitely want to reiterate being honored to be on the panel and, do this collective interview with my brothers. Um, this is what it's about. Black people coming together, sharing knowledge, you know, as we say, one tree does not make a forest. As the Akans say, outside the forest looks dense, but once you're on the inside, every tree has its position. And we just here playing our role, spreading some love to the family. Peace and love to everybody tuned in, and can't wait to get started.
All praises be.
Peace, everyone. My name is Vasad Nicolau. I'm a member of the Kofi Piesie research team and author of a chapter in the book as well. If I could introduce myself in any other way and try to demonstrate who I was in a short amount of sentences, it would be that my intentions are to demonstrate being a brother to you all and to demonstrate that it's okay to be a student in progress.
Mm-hmm.
That it's okay to be that. I think we live in a time where education is so held with high regards throughout numerous cultures that those who have it get placed on this pedestal through our eyes, and we don't understand at times that even they had to learn to get there. So it's okay for us to learn, in each process of that helps even those at the top, because they study those at the bottom as well. They want to know who you are. So there is a lot in this world that we can learn, and it takes all of us to do it. That's something that you'll hear us try to reiterate often. I don't want to get too long-winded, but hopefully that's an introduction to who I am and what I stand for.
Does that complete the team?
I believe we're missing Sean at the moment.
Yeah, that's everybody except for Sean.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so what we're gonna do is, fam, we're gonna go ahead and get started because I notice each one of you brothers have a chapter here. We have chapter one. Chapter one is Africa, the world's greatest victim, written by, and I don't want to mess the brother name up, so I'll just say Brother Gullah for right now.
Yeah, I add this in. Everyone calls me Bubba. That was going to be my legal name. So if anybody wants to call me Bubba, we're family. So go ahead and you can refer to me as Bubba. And anybody in the audience, you can type Bubba if you have a question for me. I don't actually see it, but yeah, you can call me Bubba for sure. But it's Vasa.
Okay, wonderful, brother. So if you would be so kind at this time, man, to share with us the reason why you titled that specific chapter, what you titled it, and what does that mean to you, and also how is this specific chapter going to benefit the people?
Okay. I titled the chapter Africa, the World's Greatest Victim. And I want y'all to pay emphasis to the word greatest. It's the world's greatest victim. It's not the world's worst victim, but we do study it in the lens of a lot of the horrific things that's happened. in the process of studying those things, we by default often find so many beautiful things that they have kept from us. So I look at it as you going into a crime scene, but you're finding nothing but treasures there by, in a default way. You finding out your African greatness. You're finding out that there were so many traditions. You find out that humanity began there through this racism. If you get where I'm going. So I wanted it to title it a clever way of that. And what I do is I try to walk you through a lot of a lot of the greatness through our history. I open up by looking at the tools being produced. They like to say the Stone Age. I would just like to say in the beginning of our story. I look at these tools and how they are gathering themselves and saying, wait a minute, these aren't wild savage people. These are human beings producing schools. They're creating schools of thought. They're teaching you how to survive in nature and amongst your environment. And then I just walk you through, y'all have to excuse me, my son came to me. I walk you through other periods of time the best I can while trying to introduce the main topics of the brothers' chapters to come. Talking about spheres of influence. That was to help Brother Sean. I'll start with him first. To help him say we need to be mindful of Western ideologies and Western spiritual practices and be able to discern whether they're ours or not. I bring in our relationship with animals to distinguish that we had an appreciation towards animals, but we never considered ourselves as animals. So how do we wind up in zoos one day? I talk about good character and how Africa has had a marriaging with family. That was to help Kofi with his emphasis on wanting to give proper recognition to John M. Beatty and things in his chapter. So what I was really trying to do is create a body of work that highlights my brother's works and at the same time highlight your African greatness as well.
Wonderful. That was powerful, man. So who's up next? Chapter number 2 is redemption. And Brother Sean, I'm getting ready to let you on right now, King. Okay, Brother Sean.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean. Welcome to Peace. My name is Sean. I didn't actually hear what you just said because my son just graduated, so I'm trying to get all that under control. But
Sure,
I know
sure.
you just said something about chapter 2.
Yes. Chapter 2, the family, we want to know the reason why you named it Redemption of the African Mind, your specific chapter. And also, what does that mean to you? And how is this specific chapter going to impact our people?
Well, first of all, thank you. That's a good question. Well, I named it that. I named it that because if you look at the issue with not only knowledge of self, but it's an identity crisis. And in order to redeem oneself, you have to go back and you have to take back the things that you've actually lost through sorry about the noise in the background, through this whole transgression of what we call the transatlantic kidnapping, right? Or what happened to us. So we've been beaten, bruised, battered, manipulated, succumb to all type of brutality, police brutalities, and so on and so forth. So this is pretty much like the title of it is pretty much like a call for redemption within, personal redemption within. Um, what you're going to get at it is your ability to be able to start to see that throughout the rest of the book. This plays a very important role in who we are and what we got going on. So I just wanted to kind of lay that out there like that, and then you'll see it play out in other volumes in other chapters. And what was the last part of your question?
And how is that specific chapter that you wrote, how is it going to empower the people?
Yeah, it's gonna give you back. It's gonna give you back that sense of urgency and pride that you once had. It's gonna make you take a look and reevaluate yourself, and it's gonna put you in that type of perspective. So that's what pretty much what people gonna get out of it.
Okay, man, that's powerful, my brother. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and we're going to definitely come back to you here in a few. Okay, so we have chapter number 3: confusion, misunderstanding, ignorance about African traditional religion. Oh man, this is going to be good. It's not that the rest of them not, but this is going to be good right here. Traditional African traditional religion and how it's under attack by Western society and our own unstudied. Wow, that's a mouthful right there, brother Kofi Piesie. Oh, let me see some. Brother Kofi, you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, my bad. Okay,
No problem.
y'all can hear me. Yeah.
Sir.
No, I was just saying, yeah, that's a long title. I got to do better with shortening my titles, man. But it's another. Yeah, I got another chapter here too. It's kind of long, but I'm gonna get better with it as time go on. But yeah, the chapter it's about how people are confused about ATRs, or what we call African traditional religion, or what we now call it Kimoyo, and how it's under attack by Western society, and it's under attack by our own people. Our own people frowned upon their own traditions. So I wanted to try to go with it as showing people what is Christianity, what is Judaism, and what is Islam. And we know via the Barbary Coast or the Sahara Coast slave trade and the Atlantic slave trade is when our people are probably a little bit earlier than that too, when we look at the people in the Congo, or being converted into what we call over here the 3 main Western religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So I wanted to I broke Christianity, Judaism, Islam down, and how our own unstudied compare African traditional religion, or the way of the ancestors, the Kimoyo, to these 3 Western religions, or these 3 foreign religions that a lot of us, happen to practice over here. So a lot of people will say that it's the same, but it's not the same, and I touch on how each one of those books, or each one of those 3 Western religions, which there are thousands of religions on the planet, but we know that most of our people are either Christians, most of our people are either Muslims that are practicing Islam, they're Sunni or Shiite Muslims, our people who call themselves Jews or Hebrew Israelites, and how even our own study compare those traditions with those other different religions or foreign paradigms. So, but we know so I wanted to break down and show that African traditions, there are thousands of African traditions. So I named Odinani, which is by the Igbo people in northeastern Nigeria. Their tradition is called Odinani. Also in Nigeria, I talk about the Yoruba people that practice Ifa, or what we like to call, which is Isheshe. I talk about Gulu Wankulu, by the Chewy people. And so many other traditions. There are so many different traditions, but in African, we just encase it up in the African tradition of religion, but there were so many different traditions. So I name a list of those traditions, and each one of those traditions that I named, they are not bound by a book. the Christians are bound by one book, which is the Bible. The Muslims are bound by the Quran. Jews or the Hebrew Israelites, they are bound by the Torah. So in our traditions, we are not bound by a specific book, and we don't deem our traditions to be better than the next one, because we know with those three different traditions, you are frowned upon if you don't believe in those. Even though a lot of our people don't know that these things are foreign, we either converted, it was either convert or death, or it was convert for better benefits for taxes and stuff when you deal with the Arabic and the Sahara Coast slave trade. Then when we get to an Atlantic slave trade, we know it was convert or die. So a lot of us held these traditions high, and when we start talking about one of these different traditions, or I start talking about Gulu Wankulu, people start using these derogatory terms, and our own people use these derogatory terms when they're describing their own culture. But it's a lack of it's a lack of it's a lack of studying. It's a lack of effort in studying to find out who and where you come from. And so a lot of us think that this is where we come from when we deal with these foreign traditions that we practice and we held high. So when I talk about African traditions and name some of these traditions and some of these cultures and some of the practices that they practice, this is us. This is via being a Christian. This is via being a Jew or a Hebrew Israelite. This is via being a Muslim or a Muslim. So I was trying to just show them, that our traditions come way before them. Our traditions is not a male chauvinist tradition, because most of those traditions are male chauvinist. When we are in sin because of the woman, you know what I'm saying? We fall in sin because of the woman. They talk about men being in heaven, but you don't never talk about women being in heaven. And also using these derogatory terms. So I highlight where a lot of these terms come from. When you hear them speak, you hear our people say that we are pagans because we're practicing our own indigenous tradition. So that's a misleading term. So I highlight one of those, pagan. You will hear the Muslims call us infidels because we're not Muslims. So they will call us infidels. Heathens, also our Christian brothers will also call us heathens because we say we're not Christian. So that's another misleading term, which also comes from foreigners. These terms that we're using comes from foreigners. Juju, you hear there's another misleading term, which a lot of the people in our culture took the word juju like we took the word Niggr, and which I don't use the word either way it goes, but you know how we changed it into an endearing greeting. So they changed the juju. You hear primitive, you hear the word fetish. So all of these are misleading and derogatory terms. So I highlight where these terms come from. Foreigners, foreigner investigators, prejudice, news, a news outlet. So I highlight some of those names and those outlets. And a lot of these people hadn't even been to Africa, but they would give these misleading terms. Prejudice anthropologists, paleontologists who came into Africa. So these are the terms that they came up with to describe us, because we know dealing with their perspective, our perspective is different. So they look at their perspective. We know they're warring people. We know they're based on conquering, and they have their perspective is they are better than everybody else. So this is another reason why they would try to downplay or use these derogatory terms, especially when they came into Africa and they seen our greatness. So in order to keep a people enslaved, whether it's mentally or physically, they have to write about these derogatory terms, write about how if you're not following their way as far as Christianity, Christianity, Islam, Jews, then you are an infidel, you're a pagan, and you are a heathen.
Wow, man, that is powerful right there, man. See, family, this is the reason why you want to share, you want to invite. Remember, this is a Kuji Chagalia moment. where we write the narrative about ourselves, and we have low self-esteem because of the fact that we don't have this type of information that Brother Kofi just talked about, and all our other brothers that had spoken before him. And this is critical. We have to have a better understanding of these things. And we have to understand that this is not throwing shots. So many of us misconstrue as this type of teaching as throwing shots. It's not throwing shots. It's imperative that we have a better understanding of why is it that we demonize our culture? Why don't we practice our spirituality for those of us who don't? Because obviously there's some that is, like Brother Kofi and I, and so many of the other brothers that's on the panel as well throughout the diaspora. Some of us are still practitioners of our spirituality. However, it does not negate the fact that we've been colonized. And whenever you highlight these things, people think that you're trying to be negative, but you're not being negative. The truth is not negative. The truth is only that which is going to transform our minds. So we're going to go on and we're going to address chapter number 4. And I'm going to allow this brother to pronounce this word. I'm going to allow Brother T'Challa, to go ahead and do his thing on that.
All right, peace,
Okay, there you
peace.
go.
Yeah.
Peace.
Um,
Talk to us, bro.
yeah, so coming behind what Brother Kofi was saying, the title of my chapter is Akaran Iko Iko, which is from the Mandinka people,
All right.
dealing with coastal West Africa. Yeah.
All right.
It's just west, just west of Ghana. Like we ain't too far removed. Our people down in the Ivory Coast, the Guro people, and you know what I'm saying, mixing in with the Ashantis and we get some of that dialect and influence coming over into the Malinke culture. When you're dealing with those people, but it means to learn again. All right, and it's imperative that we do that. What Kofi was just describing, what you were just saying, is exactly that. We have to learn the world completely from the African perspective. We have to unlearn these ways. And like you say, it's not throwing shots. We're a different kind of people when it comes to our mindset. Not being pseudo, I can prove it. Throughout the history of the continent and our great people, through all of the infighting, outfighting invaders, which we've been fighting invaders longer than we can really count and talk about on this particular platform and show. But we were not seeking out to globally dominate, right? Globally incarcerate, and exploit and financially gain from every other kind of human being that manifested from walking out of Africa throughout the globe. That is not the history of African people. The history of our people is very musical in the sense that, yes, we have times where it's like, man, we was doing that to each other. Yeah, because we're human beings. I mean, we in nature. Nature is it's an ebb and flow. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all peaches and cream. And we have to learn that. So we've already been taught from the Eurocentric perspective once. Okay. So now we need to akaran, learn from the African perspective. Iko again. And then learn some more because I don't know it all. You see, it ain't no iron team. So if what I don't know, Brother Kofi's gonna come behind and he gonna tell me, hey, bro, no, it's gotta be like this. And then Brother Satep gonna be like, yeah, it's gotta be like this over here too, and so forth and so on. Even those who we consider to practice Iwa or Uwa Baruru, they are our teachers. Because they are showing us, you know what, not only how not to act And when you catch somebody jumping outside their body, as we say here in the shy, you jumping out your body. We understand that when we point a finger, we got three fingers pointing back at us. And so when you observe somebody practicing Iwabaruru, remember the time that you were practicing Iwabaruru and how you looked, as the maxims of Ptah state, remain in silence and allow your adversary to make a buffoon out of himself. I'm paraphrasing, of course, so that you may maintain your innocence and one day become true of voice. But oftentimes, and I'm saying this about myself just yesterday, arguing with my better half, like I had to come back and say, yo, I apologize for allowing myself to be drawn there out of character, because it's not about right and wrong. And so when we learn again, it continues. The again part is really infinite. You always learning, you always a student, as has been iterated already in this show. Real quick, what do the people benefit from reading my chapter? I'm breaking down the understanding of African rituals from the Mandinka perspective, dealing specifically with the music, because that's what I do. I play West African drums, specifically djembe, out of the djembe orchestra and the Dunun Foundation, which are the bass drums. Why is this important? Well, your blues and your jazz and your backbeat and drummer shuffle comes directly out of these rhythms 6/8 that we was drumming for each Orisha, that we was drumming for each source of their mask of the Baka people, for each, like we've been doing this thing called music for a long time. In the history of music in this country, with our kidnapping and enslavement, we use these drums to, hey, Harriet said you better come on, she ready to go. Tonight is the night. Like this is how we was doing it. And even before then, coming over here on the ships, we was allowed to drum on the ships until we started revolting. You see what I'm saying? Then things got a little bit more violent when you really study the slave trade. You understand how it progressed, just how the Arabs come in first by piece. They want to show you the little trinkets, and they got the little women beautiful dressed up. And it's no disrespect, but I'm speaking to those with ill will of the Arab persuasion, what they do and what they continuously do to our communities today, selling us junk food and poisoning us, and then don't allow us to have a piece of the economy. See what I'm saying? Studying the slave trade, you recover what was lost musically. Black people are musical people. We sing and hum while we making dinner and while we eating our chips. We beat on the desks and we even walk with a rhythm. Some call it the pimp walk, some call it gangster, some call it swag. Whatever it is it's called today. This is how we do. Influenced in the world, got the world wanting to be us. And we need to come back to the root, which is music, because that's what brings us together. I'm going to say one more quick thing and I'm going to pass the mic. In this chapter, I talk about a few things. One of the things that's important why music is so influential is because we settle our differences through music as the people of coastal West Africa, which is Guinea, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Mali, Burkina Faso, what we're calling Benin, what we're calling Togo, right? This is what used to make up the Great Malian Empire. And what the Mandinka and the Mande meta ethnicity, all of the groups that fall under that category, even extending to the Serer of the Senegambian region and all in the Tambacounda region of eastern Senegal. We understand that if we continue to shed blood, we will not have anybody left to drum and dance with. And so we settle our differences with the dance of the strongmen. And the women do not have, the women are not left out. They actually kick it off. They just start dancing. And we decide to settle our differences, breaking electric boogaloo style. Like we really get down like that. We just start dancing. And on that note, I feel that instead of picking up arms and taking up arms against each other. I mean, we really need to try to blast some music and say, you know what, brother, I bet I can rock, I can pop, I can lock, I can drop harder than you. Because a lot of blood was saved on the continent when you study the Malian Empire and the history. A lot of wars were actually put to rest before they even started. Because the brothers amongst the village wasn't warring amongst themselves so much like the history of this country, to the point where you can go 300 years without having to deal with wars like that in these particular regions. So on that note, for peace and love and happiness, that's what I seek to share with my chapter here through the music in Spears of the Masi.
Ashe, powerful session. Also want to send a shout out to the forward by Black Panther, and also the dedicated forward by Uncle West. Going on to chapter number 5, we're going back to our good brother Kofi Piesie in the building to talk about procreating life is the highest value and priority in African culture. You got to unmute yourself, brother.
Yeah, I just unmuted now. Procreation. I just wanted to highlight procreation. Talk about how important it is to procreate. So I want to and talk about marriage, because in African culture, you cannot talk about marriage without talking about procreation. You cannot talk about procreation without talking about marriage. So when you study our rites of passages, one of the rites of passages is marriage. You got the birthing right, which is the birthing, and then the naming right is the part of that. The child does not exist until after the name. Then you have the adult right, where one passes from puberty to an adult, where now he's being recognized as, or she is being recognized as an adult in her community, her society, her clan, or her community. And then it's different stages in adulthood, and then the next right is the marriage right. So the marriage right, I'm saying, it's the most important right. That's what I feel like, because it's about procreating. So procreation and marriage goes hand in hand. So even when you go to the adult right, the woman is learning what a woman's supposed to do for the man. The man is learning what he's supposed to do for as a woman, and they understand that when the two come together, they create a life which is beneficial to them and is beneficial to their community, their society, or their clan, children, or a value in the community. So one is marriage, and most of the cultures, it's very different. Some of the cultures, you look at, it's not even, your marriage is not even official in society until you procreate. And you cannot even get in some societies, you can't even get a burial if one does not have a child. So one, procreation is not beneficial just for me and my wife, but it's beneficial for society, meaning that the children, we understand that in African culture, it's not an individual thing. We have been indoctrinated. We have been conditioned to think that we are individuals. So we always think of self, and this is another reason why we hadn't strived and got ahead of the race like everybody else, because we always thinking about ourselves. So in African culture, it is about we. It is about collective. So if I have a child, I understand that 4 hands is better than 2 hands. That means that we can acquire things faster, and we can acquire more things if we have more hands. So the children becomes a value, not only to the parents, but it also a value to the society. And the children, by you procreating, you would never be forgotten to leave your legacy behind. Your children to carry out your mission, your message, and they'll forever keep you alive. Hence, that's why we have ancestor veneration. But even when you go to ancestor veneration, you cannot be an ancestor without being an elder. And there's certain things you have to do to be in order to be an elder. And then once you meet those things as an elder and you become deceased, then you can be an ancestor and your name is forever spoken. The things that you left behind can be carried on to the next. So procreation is very important because again, without procreation, you can't think about procreation without thinking about marriage. So children is a value to the community. A children is a valuable to the parents. And again, they understand that teams win, and this is the reason why they was able to accomplish and acquire great things is because of that.
That is powerful. Get ready to bring Brother Sean on right now so he can talk about his next chapter. And that is the birth of comedic Christianity in America. Uh-oh. Does those two go together? Talk to us, Brother Sean. You're rattling some bushes.
Yeah. I am. I already know that I am going to fluster a few people with this chapter. So the purpose and the intent of the chapter. Well, first, let me say this. No, they don't go together. However, um, you'll see in this particular chapter the reason the way it was wrote the way that it is. Now, I will tell you this: I have more research that was not involved in this particular chapter for a reason. Um, and that reason was because something was going to take place, and I had lined up all my point for point arguments to refute some things just to bring clarity to African traditions and not give them give them the people the ability to compare African traditions, in this instance, Kemet, and the systems that evolved around ancient Kemet, and compare them to the Abrahamic, or in this instance, Christian um, faith based. So I argue for based on outdated resources, we tend to want to compare the two, but they really don't serve a purpose or have that distinction to even compare the two. Why would we do that to African traditions and customs when we know the embodiment of community and the things that involve customs? We can stand on that in Africa. We can't do that with Christianity. So we need to leave it. We need to leave Christianity where it needs to be, and we need to leave African traditions and customs where they are, and we need to stand on whatever we're going to stand on. I'm not going to push anyone from not being one or the other. That's not my argument. Once upon a time, I would have made that argument, but I see people cling to the things that they felt like is rightfully theirs. So I wanted to clearly make a distinction between the two, and let people know that, hey, we need to update our information because it's about advancing knowledge, and most people, they make the mistake, and they want to compare the Ankh to a cross. They have two totally different meanings in the traditions. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's going to ruffle some feathers, and it's labeled that way for a reason because some people in North America specifically are trying to recreate some African traditions and infuse the Christian beliefs and practices in them. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Go ahead, ruffle, pluck, brother.
Yeah,
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
yeah, I
Yes.
figured I'd take all the heat.
that was powerful, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, so we on to chapter number 7. Why Wada? Am I saying that right, brothers? Why Wada?
Yeah.
Not
It's Weeder. It's Weeder. Yeah, it's Weeder. You got to let Sutek back in. So Wi-Fi. So you get it back. I'm waiting on you to let it back in.
Okay, sure, got him. There you go, my brother. It's your turn.
Okay, peace. Yeah, the name of my chapter is Weeda is not Judah. And the reason I named it that is pretty much straightforward. My bad. Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. Um, we as African Americans, Africans of the diaspora, we have an identity crisis that we are right in the middle of, right in the heart of. We have brothers that are claiming to be everything except what we are. We want to be Moors. We want to be Hebrew Israelites. We want to be Native Americans. I know most of us, our grandma done told us we got Native American in our blood, or Cherokee, or that we are from Cherokee, or we Blackfoot, or you know what I mean? So we right in the heart of an identity crisis, and I feel like I wanted to use my chapter to address misinformation and confusion that will help to clear up at least one point of this identity crisis. And we as a team are going to try to clear up all misinformation about our history and our culture, at least claim by claim, one point at a time. So this was my contribution. Weeda is or was a kingdom on the west coast of Africa, what the Europeans would call the slave coast. It is in present day Benin. Um, there is a map that was floating around the conscious community for a while that was made by an English map maker, and through the nuances of translation, Weeda turned into Juda, Judah, and that caused a lot of confusion with our brothers of the Hebrew Israelite persuasion. So in my chapter, I clear that up because I noticed that they don't use these fields of research to try to substantiate this claim. What they do is look at the map and say, yo, that's Judah, that's us, we them. It's sort of a form of confirmation bias. So rather than allowing them to portray this historical inaccuracy, I go into the language of the people. I go into the religion of the people. I go into what they worship, what they held high, what they revered. I go into their culture, what they would do in their everyday life. You know what I mean? I go into it all, everything with the exception of genetics, just to let people know that because I know we as African Americans we have this gripe against the against science basically, and I'm trying to bring us to a point where we don't have to use science to come to a conclusion of are these those people or are these not those people? So I exclude science and I use all other fields of study to substantiate that these people were not only were they not Israelites, but they were African people of West African origin, and they practice traditional African customs and religions and ways of life. And I think my chapter will affect the people because I am trying, like I said, point by point, claim by claim, to disseminate information to counteract misinformation of this identity crisis.
Mm,
And
mm.
I leave it there.
Wow, that was definitely powerful right there, family. And this is the reason why people have to have a better understanding about linguistics and etymology, because I've always said this about those who say that they are that. In their language, there is no J. So how can you be a Jew, and how can you be, how can that exist when even in your own language, that letter doesn't even exist there? Some of you may see me spell queen the way I spell queen, Kween. When you study the Yoruba language, when you study the Akan language, you will come to find there is no Q. There's no Q. So some people will say that, oh, you're spelling it wrong. No, that's the Eurocentric way of spelling it. It's not being spelled wrong. Because of like what my brother just finished talking about. That's why we have to get into linguistics too. And then some of them say that they're bishops. And that blows my mind how linguistically, that's a Greek word. You're saying you're a Hebrew, but you're using Greek. I'm just saying. All right, so we're going to go on to chapter number 8 with our brother. And I'm going to let him say his name.
Yeah, peace.
Hey, Kofi, I'm not trying to chop, bro.
It's all good, man. It's Satep and Rob Mariaman, member of the research team. In the book, I did my chapter on forgotten history, human zoos / scientific racism. And I deal with how the European kind of asserts his dominance in the early turn of the century in this country. How they take over the indigenous people, and then try to assert their dominance as a race upon the world. You know what I'm saying? And they try to use science. They try to use scientific racism as a base to prove the claim that they are the creme de la creme of Homo sapiens sapiens, basically. And they go around the world. They kidnap people, basically. I'm gonna just say kidnap. So they would go to I believe they went to the region in the Congo where they kidnapped the Bantu brother Adobanga, and they still lived primitively. They still lived primitively. They didn't have technology. So, they would put this person Adobanga in the zoo on display to try to show this is the black man, But at the same time, which I write in the book, you have Jack Johnson, world champion boxer. If anybody familiar with boxing and love boxing, this is the same time period where so-called Madison Grant tries to, persuade the public that the African race is less than. But you got, like I say, you got Jack Johnson. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. You got Marcus Garvey at the time, starting the UNIA. This is all around the same time. I got this in the book. You got Noble Jew Ali starting the Canaanite Temple. So yeah, like we got people in the same time period that Madison Grant is trying to say that the African American or the African is inferior. We got people on the world stage doing monumental things, for our people at the same time. So, I just go into it how, scientific racism is it's a pseudoscience. It's not based in fact at all. It's just based on the European trying to say they're the most dominant race on the planet. And then Madison Grant, he writes a book called The Passing of the Great Race that actually inspires Adolf Hitler. He inspires Adolf Hitler. So this one man inspires somebody that commits mass genocide. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot of powerful information in my chapter that, just a nip in the bud, but like it inspires people to, and what I want to do is inspire people to do more research, what's going on in these time periods with our people. Because if you let these Europeans tell you your history, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be inferior in their eyes. But if you do the research, you'll come to find out we was doing monumental things in that time period and throughout time periods throughout the world. So yeah, that's kind of what I did my chapter on, and not to be too long with it, but yeah, I just wanted to educate the people on you know, how they had our people displayed in these zoos, and that some of us may still attend to today. You know, Brooklyn Zoo was one of them. You know, I'm not from New York, but I don't know if the Brooklyn Zoo is still open. But you know, that was one of the ones that Madison Grant was a curator for. So yeah, just for the people to dig in a little bit more research on these things. So
Sure,
appreciate you having me on, brother.
feel free to expound, my brother, because you really haven't had that much space to speak. You know, so feel free to expound. If you would like to elaborate further, please feel free to do so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not long winded by nature. I would like to get it out. So, but yeah,
It's all good.
that's all I like to. Yeah, that's all I like to expound on for right now, man. You know, I'll let the chapter speak for itself. I just want to get on your platform and let you know I appreciate you. Hopefully, your listeners read every chapter in the book, not just mine. I want them to read every chapter in the book because we all got the same base. You know, we trying to show how the African is not inferior. You know what I'm saying? How people like to use certain tools to try to assert their dominance. Once again, they try to assert their dominance on us. When on the world stage, we have done monumental things. You know what I'm saying? All over the world. So yeah, this book, man, it just I'm just proud of all the brothers in the book because everybody did their thing, man, and everybody be on the lookout for volume 2, man. That's it for me.
Oh, man, I'm definitely, I'm gonna be honest with you, family. I'm definitely looking forward to getting that volume 2. Brother Kofi already knows. As soon as he told me the same day, didn't I get that book, bro? The same
Yeah,
day,
you got the same day.
same day. So I'm
So live and
to hearing that, man. You know,
so
brother.
it don't.
Pardon me?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I ain't
No,
mean to
no,
cut
no.
you off.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go
I
ahead,
was just gonna
Nagash.
let
You
them
got
know.
it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna just let them know that volume 2 is coming real soon. We gonna get volume 2 to the editor this week, and volume 2 will be out August the 14th. Volume 2 will be out August the 14th.
Wonderful, man. We definitely looking forward to it. Okay, again, family, here you have it, the Kofi Piesie research team. Make sure you go purchase your copy on today. The information is right there. Also, make sure you follow them on YouTube as well. Hey, brother, if you would, somebody please put that out there as far as the YouTube information, and I'll highlight it.
I'll drop a link in the chat.
Okay, that'll be great, man. So make sure you go follow these brothers on there as well. I do come on there periodically. Everybody know, brother be grinding, so I'll come on there, if I can. But when I do, I definitely like to tune in and get the plethora of information that they have shared. So again, brother Kofi Piesie, research team, brother Kofi, do you have any closing remarks? And brothers, we can go to each one of you to see whether or not you brothers have any last words you would like to share with the people before we tune out.
Yeah, I just want to say appreciate everybody that's been supporting the book. The book been out, I guess, a month now, man, and we've been getting a lot of support from the book. So we appreciate y'all. I mean, we over 200 and some books sold within a
We
month
appreciate
time.
y'all
So
too, brother.
yeah, so we appreciate the support. If y'all trying to get in contact with us, just you can either Facebook Messenger me or any one of the brothers, or when we have an official website, our official email address, that is info@KofiPiesie.tv.com. Again, that is info@KofiPiesie.tv.com. So if you want inquire about anything, just hit us up on that email. Also, you can go to our website, that is KofiPiesie.tv.com. That is where you can get the books as well as Amazon. You can order the books off of our website. The As I Learn, We All Learn t-shirts are on there. You can order it off there. And the Spirits of the Moxie t-shirts on the website. And the website, you can get your latest information for these articles, videos, and quizzes we have on the website. So check the website out as well. check us out on Kofi Piesie TV. That's our YouTube channel. Also go to our Kofi Piesie like page on Facebook as well. Again, we appreciate y'all for the support. We really, truly do. Again, be looking out for Volume 2, which will be coming August the 14th, man. Again, I just can't thank y'all enough, man. Appreciate y'all and appreciate you, Brother Mark, for having us on your platform, man, and letting us speak about the book, man. We greatly appreciate you, my brother.
You know, Tope, my brother. All right. Let me see. Rest of the squad, do you brothers have any last words for the people, my brothers? You all can unmute your mics and go one at a time if you do.
Yeah, I'll say much love and appreciation to you, brother, for allowing us on your platform to build and showcase our work. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everybody else that has supported and showed us love too. We didn't expect this much love and support from people that we are receiving it from. We kind of just came out of the woodworks with this book, and we got a lot of people backing us, man. It feels good. It also feels good to be a part of this team with these great intellectual minds. These brothers, I don't just say brothers, I mean that. These are my brothers. Also, like Kofi said, man, subscribe to Kofi Piesie TV. Subscribe. We have a lot of good information, a lot of good presentations on there. Also, subscribe to the Masa Warrior Clan. Those are our brothers as well. A lot of dope information, a lot of dope presentations on there. We got something for everybody, man. We literally have something for everybody, man. Check out our like page. Again, I'm just reiterating everything Kofi said. Check out our like page on Facebook, Kofi Piesie Research Team. That is the name of the like page. Check out our website, KofiPiesieTV.com. We have the book there. We have our shirts, as Kofi said. As I learned, we all learn. We have those shirts. We have the Spears of the Mossy shirts, dope apparel. We also have the book up there too. You can also order the book off Amazon, but if you do order off Amazon, it may be a slight delay due to the situation with COVID. Everything dealing with COVID will be a priority with Amazon, so that stuff will be first. So it may be a slight delay, and it may not be, but you have a better chance of getting the book in a more timely fashion if you get the book from the website or if you reach out to one of the brothers and we'll send you your copy. Again, I want to reiterate that we appreciate you, brother, man. Much love and appreciation. Thank you for allowing us on your platform. Dua.
Next, Brother Gullah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in stance with Sutek just said. He kind of took everything I wanted to say away from me. Good job on that one. Stole all chance. He pulled a David Ruffin for real. But nah, I'm trying to, show that we also, we human beings. We like to laugh. We like to love. We like to joke.
Yes, man. Yes, I love it.
We really, really do want the world to see us as brothers and understand, I have to say this. I hope that as a brother, people appreciate how much time and sacrifices goes into this research and work we do. None of us are actually doing this to scheme on ways to create money or get from the people. We actually did this, all of us, with intentions to motivate the people. We want to inspire you to read, to learn. Help us. If y'all got information out there that you feel like you can help us with, teach us. Kofi says it all the time. As I learn, we all learn. So if you learning something that could help us, by all means, jump in the comment, share your views. We like that, and we challenge you to do that. But more so, understand that what we're doing, we need your support in it. And that's what I'm trying to get to. We can easily flip this script. One of the things I've been saying recently that makes the plight of what we're going through right now, as far as racial injustices, is now more than ever, African people have mechanisms at their fingertips to where we can tell our story and display our image and our point of view quicker and faster and broader than we ever had before as we went through these injustices. We can highlight all our greatnesses while we talk about the many social issues that we still have to address. And that's, something that we can show the warriorhood spirit of. That's, something we're trying to really coin with this is African warrior scholarship. That's what we're trying to do. So peace to everybody. I'm so thankful that you let us on here, and I couldn't say it enough times. Thank you.
Hey, my brother, for my queen and I, all of you are welcome, man. It's our honor and pleasure to have you brothers on. Brother Sean, do you have anything, my brother?
No, I think Sean is still dealing with. I think Sean's still dealing with his kids.
Okay. Did I miss anybody, brothers? Did I miss anybody? Have anyone not spoken?
Yeah, I just want to go ahead and say thank you again, like my brothers were saying. Um, for too long, the African voice has been silenced. For too long, it's been they just trying to slowly bleach us out of history while slowly emulating us and imitating us. And well, we want to twerk too. We want to dance too. We want to drum too. We want to fight too. Our lives matter too. Look, man, the Me Too game is so old and petty. Africa truly is the world's greatest victim. You see what I'm saying? So
that's true.
I man, for real. And I just really appreciate you allowing us to come on. And if you didn't know, now you know. You got another 6 brothers to count amongst the ranks who's out here saying, look here, let's lift our people up with the rest of y'all, everybody that's tuned in. Everybody doing their part because every tree has its position.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, we grateful for this opportunity to come together and truly do what we supposed to do as African people. And yeah, bro, it's all love over here.
All praises be, man. I say to that. Anybody else love family from the team?
Yeah, so Tab, I just want to give my farewell. Appreciate you for having us on here again, and appreciate all the brothers on the panel put that work in. Yeah, I'm really excited about Volume 2, man. I'm ready to,
Me too.
Man, I was looking at it the other day. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, listen, this right here, this is gonna be the one.
Yeah, man.
I like volume 1 and stuff.
Cat Williams said this right here.
This right here. Boy, I got to look at how they cooking it up, man.
This stuff right here.
For real, man. So yeah, that's it, man. Appreciate you for sharing that your platform with us, and I'm gonna personally send you a copy of the Volume 2 when it come out. So
man,
don't worry about none of that. I got you because I like your energy, man.
All praises, man. Thank you, brother. I give thanks, man. Give thanks to Goon for the blessings, man. Appreciate you, King.
No doubt.
All right, family. Well, that's it then, fam. So all the information is out there. Want to send a shout out to Good Ella on YouTube. Thank you, Queen, for showing the love to the family. Remember to go purchase your copies and look out for volume number 2. And you will see these brothers again, brothers. So when we do volume 2, definitely I'd like to invite you brothers to come back on the platform, and please come back and bless us, man. We would love to have you brothers back on again. To be able to share your literature. And not only that, if you brothers want to come on and just do a series outside of, the literature that you're writing, hey, man, please feel free, man. Our platform is always open to you, brothers, man. We thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your understanding. And I want to also say to you, brothers, that I thank you for loving us enough to sharing the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding so that we can wake up and be broken free from the Eurocentric ideologies that has incarcerated us for centuries. Peace, love, and power, family.